Yes, true. I have brought approximately 180,000 tons through the various companies. If you remember the drought we experienced in 2017, then the government allowed importation of maize, sugar, and powdered milk. I brought in the sugar from Brazil, Swaziland, and according to this gazette of 12th May, I have not committed any crime. In fact, if you are able to get details of the amount of sugar that was imported last year, was over 1 million tons, or as some people would like to talk about kilos, is over 1 billion kilos of sugar in the year 2017.
So we know as a country, the estimate that we have, the numbers that we have is that the country needs about 900,000 tons of sugar every year, and that the country in a good year is able to produce up to 600,000, meaning that the annual deficit is about 300,000. Now, if you look at that versus what you brought into the country, 187, it's more than half. Why would you bring all this so much sugar, even if you have the liberty to do so?
I have brought in the quantity I brought in accordance with my requirements. And if you look at the production records for the year 2017, each sugar mill, including mine, including others, they were producing at below 50%. What I have brought in is to supplement what I was producing. If you look at the records in 2016, 2015, I have in my two factories, West Kenya and Sukari Industries, produce approximately 180,000 tons of sugar.
When you bring all that sugar, what is your annual production that you release to the market?
The intention is 180,000, so that I would be able to use about 90,000 in 1 year and the other 90,000 in the following year.
But you have also source of sugar locally from the cane farmers.
Yes, but even today, as we speak, even today the situation is every mill is producing below 50% because of the non-availability of cane.
That's fine. So where's this sugar? 180 million kilograms of raw sugar.
Yes. I have processed nearly 50,000 tons, maybe 60,000 tons. The balance is still in stock. And the reason it is in stock is the requirement by KEBS, that because this sugar was brought in bulk, it has to be processed at the factory because of hygiene reasons. And it is very clearly spelled out in this letter. And I have followed every regulation to the letter, in accordance with the requirements of the laws of Kenya.
Sure.
I am the only one who has taken the trouble of taking this bulk sugar to be processed at a factory at a distance of 900 kilometers at a cost of over 1.4 billion shillings. Whereas others who have brought in bulk have bagged the sugar in Mombasa and have sold and are still selling the same sugar packed in Mombasa without processing. The ship called the Holy, which was carrying 50,500 tons, imported by South Nyanza Sugar, commonly known as Sony Sugar. Even they, to the best of my knowledge, did not take 1 kilo of that sugar to a vendor for processing. It has been bagged in Mombasa and it is being sold in Mombasa.
By Sony Sugar?
I don't know. The importer is Sony Sugar, that's for sure. That's a fact. Who they sold it to, who packed, it needs to be investigated.
You are saying that Sony Sugar, your competitor, imported sugar, raw sugar,
Not raw sugar, brown sugar.
Brown sugar, packaged it at the Mombasa port and sold to consumers.
Yes.
Why would they do that?
That's a question you need to ask Sony.
So how do you explain the government, security officers go to Eastleigh and find some sugar that has the name, the trademark, Kabras, understandably, it should be from you because you own that brand.
Correct.
How is that sugar in the market?
You know, when you are a leading brand, people want to, not only with sugar, with different leading brands. You have telephones today which are not genuine. So the easiest way is to go and hit on a leading brand.
So in essence, you're saying this is not your sugar, and that you brought in about 180,000 tons of sugar. Yes. 60,000 tons has already been processed. So in stock, you still have 120,000 tons of sugar. Yes. It's in your stock. Yes. What is the expiry date for that sugar?
The expiry is normally 2 years for the sugar.
And how soon do you process it and release it to the market?
I am releasing according to what I need to supplement with my local production.
Now, let's talk about, we have heard from the government officials, including the Cabinet Secretary for Interior, yes. Dr. Fred Matiang'i, yes. saying that the sugar that they have impounded contains some hard metals, talking about mercury, lead, and also it has copper. Yes. In your experience as a person, because now you have denied that that sugar impounded is not linked to you, yes. in your experience as a sugar miller, yes. is it a possibility to have these hard metals in sugar?
I have, in my entire life, I have not come across. Now, the fundamental question is, if that metal was found or those impurities were found in this sugar, it needs to be investigated. What is the source of this sugar? Where was it imported from?
So when the Kenya Bureau of Standards says that the sugar that was nabbed has part of it has allowable levels of copper and strictly, and then they said that other samples have levels of copper and lead that are not allowable. Yes. Where does copper find its way in sugar or even lead?
This is the surprising question, and I have only found it from what I recollect is from this sugar. As long as I've been in this industry, I've never found anything like that.
Let me take you back to the process of importing sugar, because now on 12th of May, the National Treasury gives a gazette notice that any person who wants to bring in sugar, they can do so. Yes. How is that process like? Like, how do you yourself determine that, yes, I need 180,000, but how do you move forward to ensure that you have that sugar?
You take in all the requirements according to the laws of Kenya. You start with the Sugar Directorate, you have to get a license. You go to Kenya Bureau of Standards to get that approval. You get the pro forma invoice from the supplier. You get an import declaration form, which is called IDF. And then the shipment takes place. And before it's shipped, is a requirement by KEBS. They have agents throughout the world. In this case, Intertech Brazil was the agent to verify the quality and to certify. For all the imports, not only mine, everybody was importing from Brazil. Mm-hmm. I've also brought in sugar from Swaziland, which was inspected by SGS.
When you were importing these 180,000 yes. Tons, yes. was it an open license from the Sugar Directorate, or did you have to state how much you want to bring in?
No, I only applied for what I required. But for a fact, and I keep on repeating this, I have imported 180. The total importation is over 1 million. My share is only 18%, whereas my production of sugar is much higher.
Mr. Rai, I get that.
Yes, yes. But it's important for you to know, only my name is being splashed all over. Question is why? There's another 820,000 tons imported by other people, including Sony Sugar, who is also a miller like me. You don't see anybody splashing their name. Nobody's asking where this sugar went.
Just finally, have the investigators spoken to you, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations?
No, the whole multi-task unit was in Kakamega. They've come to see the process of what we were doing, how we are using the sugar I brought in, how we are reprocessing that sugar. They've taken samples of that sugar. They've taken samples of the finished sugar.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jaswant Rai, Chairman of the Rai Group of Companies, talking to us about the sugar controversy. Back to you in studio.
Thank you very much.